Hello, and welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, and a podcast about the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, it's Box Office-mas. It's Christmas. This is a Christmas episode. We're talking about all things Christmas brackets film. So I'm not talking about like what you have on your roast dinner or anything like that, but I am going to be talking about box office and Christmas films at the box office. I realised kind of in recent episodes, I've been focusing more on the beyond than the box office, in box office and beyond. So I thought I'd at least talk a little bit about box office in this episode at some point. So buckle up. You got that to look forward to. I'm going to start off by talking about, obviously, the upcoming Christmas film period, and focusing on the two big boys, which is Wonka and Aquaman. I'll be talking about, what Christmas is all about, the box office, and which films going to make the most money when they face off at the Christmas box office. I will say there is kind of less jeopardy when they're both the same distributor. So whatever happens, Warner Brothers making bank. But yeah, I'll be talking about that. I will be talking about recent Christmas films and the potential dearth of recent Christmas films at the cinema, at least. Obviously, there's been some, but in terms of ones that are good and make money, and those two are not mutually exclusive. But yeah, so we'll talk about some recent Christmas films. I will also be talking about what I consider non-Christmas films. So that's films you watch at Christmas, but that aren't actually anything to do with Christmas. I'll also be talking about films that are set at Christmas, but that you can't count as Christmas films. So, you've got all that good stuff coming your way. And then we'll finish off by basically what I've done is I've surveyed everyone at Gower Street and asked them to give me their top 3 Christmas films of all time. So then I collated all their data and I am left with the definitive Gower Street top 3 Christmas films of all time. And I'm going to save that till the end. So try not to fall off the edge of your seat waiting for that one. Cool. I think that's pretty much everything that's coming up. I should know. I've already recorded it, but I honestly cannot remember. It's coming towards the end of the day. I don't even know my own name or who I work for or really what I'm doing. So, good luck for the rest of this episode. Here it is. Merry Christmas. So here it is, Merry Christmas. And what says Christmas more than a film about a big fish man fighting other little fish people? And also Wonka, which is arguably more Christmassy. Well, not even arguably, it is definitely more Christmassy. But those are the big 2 Christmas films. Well, sorry, not Christmas films. Those are the 2 big films getting released in the run-up to Christmas. So basically, I'm counting that as just like December onwards. So I don't know if people are gonna do the double bill. I don't know if Wonka Man is gonna have quite the same takeoff as Barbenheimer. Wonka Man actually, funnily enough, is something quite close to what people at school used to call me, but never mind. Both will. I mean, my big prediction, guys. Both will be pretty big. Particularly Wonka in the UK, I think, will be bigger than Aquaman. I mean, not even think. I can tell you categorically that Wonka will be bigger than Aquaman in the UK. So it will win Christmas here, if that's still a thing. I don't know if that, can you win Christmas? Who knows? But I don't think it will globally or underwater because let's say, so obviously, taking the UK out of it, but like also on a global level, let's say if Wonka is akin to something like Mary Poppins Returns, Aquaman 2, The Lost Kingdom? Yeah, Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, or whatever. Aquaman 2 would have to perform at sort of the Flash levels or like the Marvels or something, just in terms of like recent superhero films, to be behind Mary Poppins globally. And so that is obviously possible, but at the minute it's tracking pretty solidly ahead of both of those films, so probably not. So we can fairly safely say that globally Aquaman is going to win Christmas over Wonka. I mean, the first Aquaman was like quite a big surprise that it did $1 billion worldwide, because I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to slag anyone off, but objectively not not a great film, I don't think. Like, there were some parts that were enjoyable, but I really kind of, when I watched it, I wasn't sort of struck being like, oh yeah, this is the one that will break out, but it really did. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just the release date last time, again, similar to this one, obviously Christmas release, and had, I think actually have funny to talk about Mary Poppins. It had Mary Poppins Returns as another film at the time, and obviously just had the space and had the time to make its money. But yeah, $1 billion was really impressive last time. So obviously that's the number. That's a number in mind, isn't it? Like, will this one get to $1 billion worldwide again? I'm not sure, but it feels like it should be still a good number for that film. So yeah, I'm predicting that, well, not just me, but us at Gower Street are predicting Aquaman 2 will win Christmas. Well done. Over Wonka, but Wonka in the UK will dwarf Aquaman. If that, I don't know, no pun intended, I guess, because of the Oompa Loompas or whatever, I don't know. But yeah, that's the kind of vibe with the two big hitters coming up. If you want actual stone cold numbers, then obviously you have to get yourself a forecast subscription, because I ain't gonna tell you. I ain't told you in 9 episodes. I ain't gonna tell you in the 10th. So yes, get yourself a forecast subscription if you want numbers, but just if you want a general vibe, you're listening to this. It's Aquaman and then Wonka. And now you can argue the sort of technicalities of Wonka being a Christmas film. I've not seen it yet, so I don't know how much is, full on Christmas vibe, or if there's just that kind of general snowy festive setting. But there is an actual Christmas film coming out this year, which is The Holdovers. Although bizarrely in the UK, it's not out till the middle of Jan, which I don't understand, because what better time to watch a Christmas film than when you're broke because of Christmas and have nothing to look forward to in the dark months. So yeah, that would have been my choice, but I guess maybe they were scared of Wonka in the UK. So yeah, for those who don't know, The Holdovers is the new film by Alexander Payne and stars Paul Giamatti as a pretty disliked professor at a prep school called Barton Academy. It's set in 1970, and he is the person who stays on campus to supervise the students who can't go home over the festive season. And obviously stuff happens and it's heartwarming and great and whatever. I've not seen it, but a couple of my lovely esteemed colleagues have seen it, and they say it's absolutely great. And it is a legit Christmas film. Set at Christmas. Christmas is part of the plot. All that kind of stuff that makes it a Christmas film. So yeah, that's coming out in the middle of Jan here, but it is already out in domestic, and so it's very territory specific. So just check forecast, and it'll tell you. But yeah, if you haven't seen it and you're listening to this in the domestic region, then go do yourself a favor, go and watch it. And if you're in the UK, then just hold on to that festive cheer until the 19th of Jan. And if you're anywhere else, then go and do your own research, because I can't go through every territory because I'll be here all day. And you don't want that. I don't want that. All right? So yeah, actual Christmas film alert, The Holdovers. Go watch it immediately. And by immediately, I mean when it's out. And actually, thinking about The Holdovers as a legit Christmas film that's getting released in cinemas, it kind of got me thinking about Christmas films that we've had in the last... Well, I'm doing it from 2010 onwards, because again, at Gower Street and with Forecast, that's what is relevant to us. So obviously, yeah, bear that in mind. But there's kind of been a bit of a drought, I guess. Is that a thing? I mean, there's obviously some have come out and have made like decent amount of money. Like Last Christmas, for example, was 2019, and that made a decent chunk of cash, especially in the UK. And that made about just under 20 mil in the UK, and it made worldwide, it was about 120, just over 120 $1 million. But that's really like for a while, that's kind of been it, right? I mean, Little Women, this is based, I did an IBO search that put Christmas as a keyword. And then I got all the results from that. They count Little Women as a Christmas film. I do not. But that obviously that made more than Last Christmas. That did 216 worldwide. And in poundage in the UK, it was 23. Just over 22 million squidders, which, that's loads. But it's not a Christmas film. I don't care. It's not a Christmas film. But the biggest Christmas film of all time now is Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, which I think made over $500 million, about 515, I think 515, yeah, and UK made just under 30 million quid. But I mean, it's really been slim pickings. You've had, what was probably Arthur Christmas was 2011. That's probably the most recent theatrical one that made like a good chunk of cash. It was $150 million worldwide, and in the UK it did 21 and some change. Obviously, you've had stuff like A Bad One's Christmas, Daddy's Home 2, things like that. Little Fockers, but that was ages ago. Yeah, but it's really like the. What else? You had like Why Him? Kind of. I suppose that is a Christmas film. No, it is. That's not fair. It is a Christmas film. Office Christmas Party. That's over. They're the ones over 100 million. You had Nutcracker and the Four Realms, Rise of the Guardians. Yeah, that's it. Those ones, the ones I've said. That's all about worldwide over 100 million. But for a while, it's really not been the place for Christmas films. You've obviously got Krampus, for example. But that was only $62 million worldwide, and it is a Christmas film, but it's also a bit like Nightmare Before Christmas. It's kind of that bridge between horror or Halloween and Christmas, not horror. That's not fair. So I think just so many of the kind of theatricals recently that are Christmassy have just kind of been, good fun, but sort of slightly naff Christmas comedies, and by no means stone cold classics. So then it got me thinking, but there have been, recent Christmas films that have been good. But they've just all been on streamers. So, for example, Klaus was great. This is my opinion. Obviously, you might think I'm talking absolute rhubarb. But I really like Klaus. I thought it was fantastic. That was only a few years ago. It was on the evil Netflix. Boo, boo. So, obviously, it doesn't count. And same with Christmas Chronicles and things like that. So, it kind of made me realize, I don't know, that Christmas, like newer Christmas films, do kind of, in a way, lend themselves to streamers more. I guess because at this time of year and from this point onwards to Christmas, people are more just like all cozy at home and don't want to go out and go to the cinema. And so, that's not entirely true because obviously films at Christmas make money. But you know what I mean? For these kind of like Christmas films, people are just happy watching them at home. There's really not been anything for a while that you would count as like that kind of classic Christmas film that has made anything at the box office. And you know what? That makes me sad as a box office fiend. But yeah, so I guess I don't know let me know if you think I'm talking rubbish. But the last one that I can think isn't Little Women was Last Christmas. And while that made like I said, it made like all right money for a film like that. I mean, it wasn't, objectively it was not good. And so let me know if you can think of anything else that I'm missing. But it does seem like streamers for new Christmas films are the way forward, because that is kind of like they kind of reflects the habits of people at this time of year. Because staying in, getting the fire on because heating's so expensive, and getting under a blanket, getting your hot chocolate, getting your mulled wine, getting a mince pie, and just watching one of these newfangled Christmas films, or obviously some of the old stuff. So I think that's reflective of what's been going on. But let me know if I'm talking crap, because I always like to hear that.
I made my family disappear.
So what we're seeing almost, instead of super Christmassy films being released in December or, late November, basically the period leading up to Christmas. What we're seeing in the last few years is the kind of constant re-releases of, old Christmas classics. I'm talking your Die Hard, your Elves, your Homes Alones, and just, all the other ones. So what I thought I would do for you and also for myself, because I thought it would be interesting just for me as an analyst, was just to kind of have a little look and see how much cash these re-releases add to the film's overall box office. So, like, how useful are they? Obviously, they're nice for cinemas to have. It's nice for the audience, because I really enjoy the idea of going to watch, say, like something like Home Alone. I did not see it on the big screen when it came out because I wasn't alive. But yeah, I like that idea, right? Obviously. So it's very nice. But I just thought I'd have a little look and see how much these re-releases have all like added up to for their respective films. And I am, again, only doing this from 2010, and I am only talking about the UK box office in this instance. So sorry that for all the fans of other box office, but yeah, maybe another time I'll do kind of global vibes, but I just had the UK stuff to hand. So I'm doing that, all right? Sue me. So the films that I looked at the most, these are a sort of select few, but they're your classics. So I've done Love Actually, Elf, Home Alone, Die Hard, Nightmare Before Christmas, It's a Wonderful Life, and Muppets Christmas Carol, Save the Best till last. Yeah, so I thought, let's have a little look at how much box office they've added in that period. And I'd say I've looked at it from 2010. It's really only been in the last few years that studios have consistently done the re-releases. So I think that's interesting. And we could all speculate as to why. Answers on a postcard. My address is tl@gower.st. That's not where you send postcards, but you know what I mean. So yeah, Love Actually in all its re-releases since 2010 has added sort of between £600,000 and £700,000. Oh yeah, that's another thing. All these figures are in pounds because it's the UK. Elf, which has been the biggest success in this regard, has added £2.6 million from its UK box office. Home Alone has done 2.3 million. Die Hard is a Christmas film, done 700,000. Then we've got Night Before Christmas, which is similarly to Die Hard, about 700,000 quid. Wonderful Life was just under 2, like 1.92. And Muppets Christmas Carol, criminally low at 1.2 million. That should be, every Christmas it should make £10 million. All right? If you've got anything about you as an audience, you go and see Muppets Christmas Carol and make it make £10 million. All right? If you take anything away from this podcast, I want it to be that Muppets Christmas Carol needs to become the highest grossing film of all time because of re-releases. All right? Cheers.
Okay, people, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., Santa's coming to town.
Santa! Oh my God! Santa here? I know him.
And before I give you what you've all been waiting for, which is the Gower Street top 5 Christmas films, I'm going to just briefly talk about what I consider non-Christmas films. So these are films that you watch around Christmas or in the build-up to Christmas, or that you associate with Christmas, but they aren't actually Christmas films. So, for example, me and my fiance, Ellie, have just started watching all the Harry Potter films to prepare for Christmas. So I am very strict on like Christmas is just in December. So like don't do Christmas music, don't do Christmas films until 1st of December. And then I'm full on Christmas socks, Christmas hat, Christmas jumper, Christmas skin. I'm full on Christmas boy. But until then, I'm like, no, because I just feel like people get burnt out with it, right? People like enjoy it at the start. Then by the time Christmas comes, they've been listening to all this stuff for 6 weeks and they're just sick of it. And I ain't gonna be that guy, all right? So as like a compromise, like we've started watching the Harry Potter films. It's like a nice little kind of marathon type thing. It gives it's like easy to then choose what you're gonna put on in the evening. There are also films you can do Christmas shopping to and stuff because you've seen them billion times before. So yeah, for me, Harry Potter is what I would consider a non-Christmas Christmas film. Also, stuff like Lord of the Rings as well, in a similar way. Again, it's just like they're always on. Normally Channel 5, sometimes ITV4, sometimes ITV2, but they're always on around Christmas, right? So I want to hear from you. What do you think are the most non-Christmas Christmas films? Again, also, like I mentioned it earlier, but Little Women, that does feel very Christmassy to me, but it's not, as mentioned, Christmas is not a key plot point. It's not part of the plot of the story, whatever, so it can't be counted, even though there's like parts that are set at Christmas. It feels Christmassy, whatever. There's also, actually, in a similar vein to that, is In Bruges, which was a very rogue shout by a colleague at Gower Street in their top Christmas films. So I had to include it because they put it, and I can't be bothered to argue, but not a Christmas film technically. But yeah, they put In Bruges because, again, yeah, it's set around Christmas, whatever. But Christmas isn't like the plot. The plot is obviously they've escaped, like ran away after a hit gone wrong. If you haven't seen In Bruges, you're mental, but yeah, go and watch it because it's amazing. And also there's stuff like The Apartment and films like that, and like, you know, Shane Black films. He clearly loves Christmas. So many of his films have Christmas like settings, like even like Kiss Kiss, Bang Bang, things like that, but I'd never ever count them as Christmas films. You can't say like, oh yeah, let's do a Christmas film marathon this Sunday because it's all rainy and we want to stay inside or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. We'll start off with Home Alone, then we'll do Love Actually, and then we'll go on to Iron Man 3. You know? Doesn't work. So yeah, just let me know. There's loads I can, you know, think of, but I think it'd be great to hear. I mean, for me, yeah, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Little Women, all that I mentioned are what I would associate as non-Christmas Christmas films. Also, I just wanted to say, I obviously, as I said earlier, to have a little look at a big list of films, I put a search into Ibo with the keyword Christmas and did a download. The funniest response on that list was Thomas Vinterberg's The Hunt from 2012, the one with Mads Mikkelsen in, because nothing says Christmas like an innocent man being accused of being a paedophile. Yeah, probably the least festive film of all time. I don't understand, like, what. I can't even think of. I mean, sure, like, it takes place over a year or, like, a course of time. So I'm sure there's, like, a Christmas scene in there, but I can't remember it because not once during that film, which is incredible, by the way, like, is absolutely amazing, amazing film. But not once in that film did I ever feel that kind of warm, fuzzy Christmas feeling that I do when I watch something like Little Women or any other Christmas film that is an actual Christmas film. So yeah, so I just thought I'd add that in. The Hunt, if you want a nice Christmas film for all the family, get it on Boxing Day. Your nan'll love it. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the Gower Street top 3 Christmas films. Woo! So, as I mentioned at the start, I have surveyed everyone in the company, asked them to give me their top 3 Christmas films, and then obviously I have then compiled the top 3 ultimate list. So, like, you know, the 3 that got the most responses. To take it away, I think, by the way, I was going to actually say, I've got this app, not that I'm sponsored yet by anything, but so this is not a sponsor, but I've got this app called Just Watch, which is really useful for telling you where things are. So like any film you want to watch, you put it into the app and it tells you what streaming services things are on. So I was going to be really lovely and tell you where all these things were, but actually it turns out they're all on Disney Plus. So I don't need to do that now. Well, I have. I've told you where they all are. They're all on Disney Plus. So I'll go from the 3rd to 1st. So coming in at number 3, which was one of my 3, is The Muppet Christmas Carol. Of course it is. How could it not be on any list about top Christmas films? If you haven't watched it, have you been living under a rock? If you have watched it, watch it again. As I mentioned, it's on Disney Plus. Number 2 in the Ultimate Gower Street Christmas film list, we've got Die Hard. Yes, and I will say now, I'd find the discussion, the yearly perennial discussion about is Die Hard a Christmas film so boring because of yes, obviously it is. Like Christmas is literally a key part of the plot. Like he is trying to get to his family for Christmas. Like just because there's a load of guns and fighting doesn't mean it's not a Christmas film. If this just was like a rom-com where they're trying to get home for Christmas, you'd be like, yeah, this is a Christmas film. So yeah, whatever. It's really boring, and I do find it just interminable. So Die Hard is number 2, which is, if you know our CEO, Dimitrios, it's not a surprise. I think he voted for it 3 times as his top 3 Christmas films. No, he did genuinely have Die Hard and Die Hard 2 on his list, though, because, yeah, big fan of those films. And number 1, the best Christmas film of all time, according to Gower Street, is that's me doing a drum roll. Home Alone. Of course it is. It's fantastic. It was also on my list as well, so I've got 2 of my 3 in here. If you must know, my other one was Elf, which, yeah, I don't really love Will Ferrell films, but Elf is a massive exception. So yeah, Home Alone, number 1, all on Disney Plus. I mean, Home Alone 2 is also great, apart from the cameo that you all know about is the one part where it really dips for 5 seconds, but other than that, it's nothing but gold. So yeah, they are the top 3 Christmas films according to Gower Street. Number 1, Home Alone. Number 2, Die Hard. Number 3, Muppet Christmas Carol. As before, get in touch with me with your own. Well, I'll tell you what, give me your top 3, everyone listening, all 3 of you, and then I can also add that to the list and see if we'll combine Gower Street and Gower Street podcast listener list, see if that changed anything. So tl@gower.st, tl@gower.st for that, or obviously I'm on LinkedIn. I get tagged normally in the post with the podcast, so just send me a message on there. Invite me to connect, or whatever the stupid LinkedIn phrase is. Yeah, and just give me a top 3 Christmas films of all time. They don't have to be just 2010 onwards. None of mine are. I don't think anyone... No. I'm just having a little look at the list. No, I don't think any film that anyone has given me was after 2010, which just backs up what I was saying about the kind of dearth of quality Christmas films in recent years. Although, like I said, Klaus, Christmas Chronicles, absolute honorable mentions, but they don't break into the classics, new classics, oxymoron. But yeah, they don't break in yet. A controversial shout I had as well from a couple of people actually, was Edward Scissorhands. Is that a Christmas film? I don't know. I'm not sure it is, but if you can let me know what you think to that, then please do. I'm just not sure. Again, I think that kind of falls under the not actually like Christmas film by plot and all that sort of stuff. I don't know though. Let me know. I might be chatting out my butt. So yeah, cool. Well, that's the end of this bit. Stay tuned for the outro. You don't want to miss it.
Let us deal with the eviction notices for tomorrow, Mr. Cratchit.
Tomorrow's Christmas, sir.
Very well. You may gift wrap them.
Well, that's all, folks. I think that'll probably be the last episode of the year. Not that I'm being super, super, super lazy, but more because it feels quite nice, right? We got to episode 10. We made it together. You all struggled through just like I did. And I don't know what more we can sort of gain by having another episode for Christmas. I've talked about Christmas, talked about the films coming out at Christmas. Obviously, there are, a few coming the week after, like Ferrari, Next Girl Wins, Anyone But You, things like that. In domestic, you've got Migration as well, coming out just before Christmas. But I feel like it's, quite a nice place to kind of end it for the year, talking about the festive season and films around that. So, yeah, I think I'll come back in Jan with some more interminable podcasts for you. In that next episode, I'll be doing a little look back over the whole of 2023 films. Also, we'll be doing a bit of a box office look back. Yeah, there's going to be just basically a whole retrospective episode on 2023, on films, on box office, and beyond. So, yeah, I guess just look forward to that whilst you're playing Trivial Pursuit for the 10th time in 3 days. Cool. I think I'll leave it there. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and the happiest of New Year's. And thank you for listening. So yeah, I guess there's nothing else to say other than have a great day, week, life. And Merry Christmas. Goodbye.